Have you ever felt like jiu-jitsu just isn't as exciting as it used to be? Maybe you feel like you've lost that passion and that fire to grind it out night after night. Don't worry, this is completely normal for a lot of jiu-jitsu students, and it's actually fixable. This happened to me when I was late in my blue belt career. Now I've been teaching and training for over 15 years. I was able to achieve my black belt, and I've been able to make jiu-jitsu a full-time career. In this video, we're going to break down 3 of the most common reasons why students tend to lose their passion and how we can get it back, or at least keep that passion burning bright. If you are new here, thank you for checking out the channel. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for checking out another video. If you haven't already, please go ahead and do me a favor by hitting that subscribe button and also turning on the bell icon. That way you're notified whenever the latest video comes out. Let's dive into the 3 reasons of why students experience a loss of passion for training jiu-jitsu. The first big one has to do with burnout from overtraining. Now, sometimes this burnout is due to a mental due of overtraining, and sometimes it can be due to a physical exhaustion of overtraining, because jiu-jitsu has a lot of information to learn and it takes time to get good at and develop. And so if we don't have a healthy perspective of what it means to progress or know what it means to improve, then we're going to think we're never getting any better. And so we burn out in a mental capacity from training jiu-jitsu. And now I lose that passion because I think I'm never getting any better. And then when it comes to burnout from the actual physical overtraining aspect, a lot of the movements are new and they're different and they're unique and they're kind of complex in a nature. And you're still learning how to make them more efficient. You're still learning not how to over push. And until you get efficient at those movements, then you can sustain little tiny injuries here and there. And those can build up to making your body very sore, making you tired, and not physically wanting to go to class. The next thing is talking about plateauing and skill development. Maybe you've been training jiu-jitsu for 2 or 3 years now, and you have your core set of moves that normally work for you, but now you start to notice that you're not hitting them successfully on as many training partners. Or maybe you're a competitor and you were doing really well in competitions. You felt like your game was working and you were able to make things work, but now when you go compete, just everything seems to be not working and people are hitting stuff on you. And when you start to experience this creates a lot of self-doubt about if you are able to do jiu-jitsu, if you're ever going to break through the plateau, if you're actually capable of improving at jiu-jitsu. And that can definitely start to dwindle our passion. The third thing is the external life and stress, because it's already hard enough to get good at jiu-jitsu. Now you add the stress of your regular life and you're carrying that on your shoulders and you're dealing with that majority of the time. Well, that's going to suck the energy out of you. When you deal with your work and your family and other social commitments that you have, that takes energy and effort. It requires a lot, then maybe you just don't have enough to go out there and put on the mat, and you feel like you can't give it as good of an effort as you would like. Let me know down in the comments below. Have you ever lost the passion to train jiu-jitsu? Has it ever crossed your mind? And if you've actually gone back, let me know what you did. That could really, really help somebody, because people do read the comments. So leave me a comment down below. So what can we do to start to reignite this passion for our jiu-jitsu? Well, the first thing we can do is set a new perspective or determine a goal for our jiu-jitsu. The reason why goals are very beneficial to rekindling this passion is it's going to keep you more mentally engaged and mentally stimulating. Sometimes if you're just going through the motions, you're not really training what you're passionate about actually in jiu-jitsu. You're just doing what everyone else is doing, whether you care about it or not, and you're just following a routine and following the herd of the crowd. If you can pick a goal, you're probably going to pick a goal based upon something that really, really interests you. Don't pick a goal by saying, I just want to get better, or I just don't want to suck, or I just want to be better at fundamentals. My challenge for you is to be more specific. get a little bit deeper into that question. What does it mean to be better at jiu-jitsu? What does it mean to have better fundamentals? Get out a sheet of paper and write that down about what it means. An expert tip to you when it comes to these kind of goal planning or mapping out is you can do them in a layered or a timetable setting. Maybe for 1 month, you say, I'm going to get really good at the knee cut pass. But then throughout this whole quarter, so the next 3 months, I'm just going to get good at guard in general, and maybe knee cut pass 1 month and then a different pass another month. And then you have a larger goal that's more of a mindset goal that you could do over the course of a year. I want to get better at playing the top position, or I don't want to be on bottom as much, because ultimately those skills take time to develop. But when you kind of put some short-term goals and a little bit long-term goals together, then it makes you a lot more mentally engaged and reignites that passion. The second thing we can do is redesign our training environment or learn to use it differently. And the reason why this works is because when we do more purposeful training or intentional training, it's going to make me go outside of my comfort zone, and it's a new opportunity for growth, which is going to make me more engaging in the overall training and bring back fun and newness into my training. Some ways that we can do this is we can do more positional sparring. I can focus on hitting one specific technique. Maybe I can do very specific drills in the course of training. I know every gym kind of has their norms about how a class structure runs. So my general recommendation is to talk with your head coach or the person who's running the class and just ask if we can do some different types of drills. Can we do positional drills? If they're not open to that, maybe you can do that during the open mat on your own. There's a lot of great resources out there about ways to do intentional drills and intentional sparring. If you guys have specific questions, you can leave them down in the comments below. Reusing how you actually train jiu-jitsu and just not going through the same motions, practicing the same techniques, even in rolling, doing the same A game and changing it up some can bring new excitement and growth to your jiu-jitsu. And the third big way to rekindle this passion is reconnect with your why with jiu-jitsu. The reason why this works is because it's going to most align with you and your reason for continuing to train. The reason why most people start training and then the reason why they keep training are not always the same thing. But a lot of times it's what I call the full circle effect. You might have come into jiu-jitsu because you wanted to learn self-defense. Then you got really into the competition scene. So now you started to focus more on the tournament aspect. And so you go heavy down that route. But then after you exhaust that resource or you do that for a little bit, now maybe you go back to doing the self-defense perspective. And that's definitely okay. So understanding the why of what keeps you training right now is very beneficial to reigniting that passion. Because I think a lot of times students tend to go with the flow of whatever the school is or whatever they think their instructor wants them to be versus really kind of training for themselves. A big reason of why I continue to train jiu-jitsu, just doing it for 15 years, is I realized that being a black belt isn't someone who can tap everybody out left and right. It's someone who has the ability to go from knowing nothing about something and becoming an expert in it, and knowing that development process and watching that bloom and blossom like a flower or a caterpillar that evolves into a butterfly. And I really, really like that process. I see that skill transition over into other life aspects. This YouTube channel, I knew nothing about filming and editing or talking on camera. I was completely terrible, but because I continue to stay at it and I look at it as getting better each and every time and as a development process, then I keep doing these videos and I keep trying to make them better. And that's the same thing in jiu-jitsu. So understanding your why for why you're showing up every day to train can keep that passion high, and it will keep you studying the things that you want to study and keep you referencing in the back of your mind. So if you're thinking about skipping class or you can't push through that tough training session, just remember why you're there, and it will really help you keep that passion high. If you like this kind of information, make sure you grab my free acceleration guide down below, 5 steps on how you can start to accelerate your jiu-jitsu. Also, if you're looking for more help and resources, you might be a good candidate to qualify for my Jiu-Jitsu Accelerator program, where I can help you overcome these problems and we work together to develop you a high-level training plan and implement some successful training strategies to keep you progressing and to set you up for lifelong success. Just know that these are things that every jiu-jitsu student goes through. As I stated earlier, it's completely normal to feel like you're not as passionate about jiu-jitsu one day, and then after a couple months you feel that passion high again, and then it's going to go down. It's kind of like a roller coaster or the stock market, and ultimately we want to just kind of always keep it going upward. There's going to be times that it goes down, but you have to recognize when the passion is dwindling, and then you have to be able to take the necessary action steps to reignite that passion or figure out what you need to do. Some people just will not be able to stay in jiu-jitsu. It's not for them, and they'll move on to bigger and brighter things. And that's definitely okay if that's the case. But ultimately, my goal here with this channel is to try to keep you training and keep you indoctrinated into the world of jiu-jitsu. So stay on the mat and get after it.